The best time to poo is when you've got gym shorts on or sweatpants. You can just take them right off. You know what I mean? You're easy in, you're easy out. There's no commitment. With pants, there's a button, there's a zipper, there's a belt. I was wearing a lot of layers because I was outside because it was cold, because I went to a bar to watch the Phillies play against the Arizona Diamondbacks, who aren't even a real team. That's not a real team. I've never heard of that team in my entire life. I've never heard that name in my entire life. Diamondback sounds like a brand at like a hardware store. It's like, oh, what brand is that shovel? Is that Husky brand? Is that John Deere brand? No, it's Diamondback. I want my money back for the time that I spent watching you. So I'm going to stay positive and not think about that, but it was fun. So I had to poo, so I had to take all this shit off, and I put it back on. I was going to hold it in my butt, because pooping is such a commitment, you know what I mean? There's a hole on your bottom. I don't know how stuff doesn't just fall out. I really don't know how any of this works. I really don't understand. I mean, there's a hole right here too. And I don't know how this works. I don't know how any of this works. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll hold it in, you know, such a commitment. Taking a shit is such a commitment. I was like, maybe I'll hold it in. It'll help me with the podcast. It'll like keep me going, you know. I know you guys love my tangents, but sometimes I go on so many, it takes an hour to say one sentence, which you love. But I was like, I want to keep the energy going, and I decided I was going to take my shit. So I took my shit, and I do feel better. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. My name's Matty K. I have delusions of grandeur, but they're only delusions until they become your reality. Case in point, 2 days ago, Sunday night, I went to the club by myself, fell in love. So I'm good. I'm happy now. That's all it took. One Sunday night. So today's episode, I asked Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I sent out the question, what makes you happy? Because I've been in a little bit of a funk recently, with things in my life are funky. So I wanted to be like, okay, you know, I want to stay positive. Being negative doesn't help, but I also hate fake toxic positivity when people are just kind of like influencer happy. It's not real. So I always like, what's real? What really works for you? You know, what really works for you? So I asked people, and you guys came through. Thank you very much. So we're going to be reading those and talking about that. This is the happy episode. This is the what makes you happy episode. So what better way to be happy than to drink some passion, a nice cold sparkling LaCroix. So why don't you grab yourself a beverage, preferably one that's sweating, because it's very crisp. Look at that. Ooh, refreshing. You ready? Listen. Maybe I shouldn't shake it right before I open it. Did you hear that echo? Did you hear that reverb? Did you hear that? Smells like passion. I love drinking LaCroix when I smoke weed because it makes me feel like high-end trash. I also like the juxtaposition of the crisp, cold, refreshing with the hot heat of the weed. So, I screenshotted everybody's answers. Thank you guys once again for sending in your contributions. I really appreciate it. It's very dope of you. So we're going to go through and we're going to do this. And I asked people, what makes you happy? And I said it could be big happy, like the love of your grandma. It could be small happy, like eating a bowl of ice cream. And it could be like whatever you want, right? Whatever. So there are no rules. There's no the answers. There's just answers. There's no like the solution. There's just options, right? So that's what I did, and that's what you did, and thank you. So Dakota tells us avocado toast. Very good. Cows, alive or in burger form, or both at the same time. I added that last part. Mr. I don't know who this is. Mr. Ballin Podcast. I don't know who that is. Bubble baths. And this last one's scary. Ghost hunting. But Dakota put a little laughing, crying emoji. So I like avocado toast. Avocado tastes good. It's good for you. I like the colors green and yellow together. Very crunchy. Avocado toast also is one of those things that's like, it's better than you think it's going to be. It gets a lot of shitty rap online. It gets a lot of millennial stereotyping. And I don't think that that's fair. In fact, I know that that's not fair because avocado toast is simple and delicious. It's crispy and it's buttery, and I like when there's garlic on it. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like there's a lot of lore surrounding avocado toast, and I feel like we need to deconstruct that lore and just enjoy it. There's a lot of stigma that comes with it. There's a lot of millennial prejudice that comes with it, and we need to combat that, and we need to just enjoy it for what it is because it's good. It tastes good. You know what I mean? It's like, don't project your shit onto avocado toast. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not good for you. Cows. You know, cows seem like they are related to dogs because I want to pet them. I feel like they have souls. I feel like they have emotions. I feel like if I looked into a cow's eyes, I could... Which way do I want it to go? I feel like if I looked into a cow's eyes, it could speak to me. And I could speak to it by it reading my mind. And I want to pet it. I feel like its fur is very short, which I like. And I feel like their noses are like dog noses. They're wet and they probably go like this. I can't move my nose. I was like, hey, look at me move my nose. And then I just moved my mouth. You can't move your nose. There's no bone. Noses don't have bones. There's no nose. There's no bone in the nose. You can't move. You cannot move something if it doesn't have a bone. That's not true, but we're not going to talk about that. You cannot move your nose. If you can move your nose has been replaced by a robot. You are a cyborg. You could be a clone. You could be an alien. You could be one of those creatures. And it's scary to talk about this shit. I'm putting my life in danger by discussing this, and we need to use discernment. We need to use discernment on these options that we're discussing, okay? Cheeseburgers are delicious. Speaking of avocado toast, have you ever put avocado on a cheeseburger? If you haven't, why do you hate millennials? Why? Baby boomers hate millennials. Gen Z hates millennials. Millennials deal with self-hate. And then what is Gen X doing? What the fuck? Nothing! I'm not saying you don't do anything, but what you're doing is just not defending us. I've never met a single Gen X lawyer who defends millennials. If you are one, make yourself known. Speak. My feet hurt. Speak up. Speak up. Speak up. And let your voice be heard. I'm tired of this shit. Okay, let's get some blood back into my feet. So, cheeseburgers are delicious. I don't know who Mr. Ballin is. Okay? I don't know who Mr. Ballin is. Do you want to expand upon it, Dakota? You can. For all means, do it. But we'll never know. We'll just never know. Okay? Googling is not allowed in the podcast. Bubble baths. Oh, I could fuck with a bubble bath. Put some lavender oil in that shit. Some tea tree oil up in that shit. I had this, it's like that all-natural brand, Dr. Somethings. It's in like that huge container. It's got all the words written on it. I know this really narrows it down. It's like coconut oil, tea tree oil, body wash, all natural. Like castor oil soap thing. Go into the soap aisle. You'll see what I'm talking about. I love that shit. It lasted me forever. In ghost hunting. We're not going to talk about ghosts. Okay? Because I live alone. Well, I have my roommate, Jake Gyllenhaal, but he sleeps on the balcony. I just watered him today, actually. I hadn't watered him in... He was very crusty. His body was very crusty, and his soil was very crusty. To those of you who don't know, Jake Gyllenhaal is my roommate. He lives on my balcony, and he is a plant. He moved in this past April, and he doesn't pay rent. He doesn't contribute. He contributes emotionally to me not being as lonely, but I live in California right now, and so, you know, a lot of people are very, like, money isn't real kind of a thing. A lot of people, their money's tied up in cryptocurrency. Oh, I didn't show you my shirt. It's not the sun. It's a fried egg wearing sunglasses. It is a fried egg wearing sunglasses for the happy episode. My buddy and I got matching shirts when we were in Kentucky or Tennessee. I don't know. We went to Cracker Barrel for food. I don't know if it was breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but we got breakfast. And it says breakfast y'all day. And it's very soft. It's a tri-blend shirt, very comfortable. It's gray. I cut the sleeves up a little bit and broke it in, and it's really nice. It's really beautiful. And he's smiling because he's happy, because he's learning what makes you guys happy. We're not going to talk about ghosts because I live alone, and that's scary. I'm one of those people who, let's use a metaphor. Let's say someone's like, hey, if you ate this thing that doesn't exist, if you ate this pepper that doesn't exist, it's so hot it would kill you. Do you want to eat it? And I'd say no, but they'd be like, but it doesn't exist. It's this hypothetical. And I'm saying, I know it doesn't exist. I don't believe that it exists, but I still don't want to eat the pepper, the hypothetical pepper, right? So that's kind of like with this, okay? Like ghosts. Do I? No. Do I want to talk about them? No! Stop. Stop trying to scare me. Dakota, thank you for your contribution, but I feel like you had a scaring agenda that you're trying to push on me by making me scared, and I think that this laughing, crying emoji was like your legal defense and your cover, and I would just like to say, how dare you try to scare me. It worked. Okay, moving on. So Erica said garlic bread. Can you condense? I appreciate your contribution, but I do not have hours and hours and hours to just read all of this description. It's too much content. It's too much to unpack, so I can't read all of it. So I'm gonna give the condensed version. Okay, garlic bread. It's delicious. I'm Italian. I can make garlic bread from scratch. It sounds like I'm bragging because I am. Okay, I like garlic. I like bread. I like garlic bread. I like when it crunches and it gets all oily and buttery and olive oily and I like the juicy crunch. It's a juicy crunch, it's savory, and it's delicious. So thank you, Erica, for your contribution. Just kind of keep it a little shorter next time. A little brevity, please. A little self-awareness might be nice. Thank you. Opal gave us 3 separate comments. First one is listening to you talk about how much you love nuggets. I'm going to get very emotional, but I'm going to try to be strong for my audience. I love chicken nuggets. I know that you love chicken nuggets, and the connection is just, if we let chicken nuggets change the world, it could. I love chicken nuggets. I love chicken tenders. I love chicken fingers. I like boneless chicken wings. I like popcorn chicken. Chicky nuggy. Chicky nug. Nugs. tendies. What sauce do I dip them in? The possibilities are endless. And that's what's so beautiful about chicken nuggets is that they're a catalyst. They open doors to other places that you couldn't go by yourself. Am I going to dip this in a honey barbecue sauce? Am I going to dip this in ranch? Am I going to dip it in the honey barbecue and then the ranch? Layer that shit? Honey mustard? Am I going to dip it in sweet and sour sauce? Am I going to dip it in hot sauce and take a chance? Take a chance! Step outside your comfort zone. And then there's different brands too. Do I use the ranch from this place or the ranch from that place? The ranch from that place is the better one. But Opal didn't just say nuggets that you like hearing how much I talk about how much I like nuggets. I just like to speak my truth. You know, I just like to tell my side of this, you know, this consciousness that we're experiencing, which is that you have to enjoy things. It's very profound, so maybe write that down. You have to enjoy things. So chicken nuggets is a great way to do that. And a great way to get extra calories in. If you need more calories, use dipping sauce. Honey! Just dip it in honey. That's good. Yeah. Opal also said, taking chocolate chips to bed. I love these details, Opal. I love that you didn't just say chicken nuggets. You said listening to me talk about chicken nuggets. I like taking chocolate chips to bed. Do you eat them once you're in bed, or do you just put them on your nightstand to keep you company? Hey, you know, I spent my 26th birthday in my bed eating chocolate cake. And the chocolate cake wasn't even from my birthday. It was from somebody else's birthday 2 days before. No regrets, dude. It's so good. I love that shit. So taking chocolate chips to bed, that's a good, you know, just to have them emotional support chocolate chips. Maybe. So the whole point of this was for me to like, okay. The whole point of this was for us to help each other. I don't want to say this for me to help you because that sounds very pretentious, even though I am, and you're welcome. But it was for us to help each other to share like what makes us happy. And so this is something you can learn maybe next time you get on an airplane and you have anxiety, and instead of taking an emotional support dog, an emotional support peacock, take some emotional support chocolate chips. I mean, if you could take them to bed, you should legally be allowed to take them on an airplane. You might need to get a doctor's note. You might need to get diagnosed with some sort of anxiety, which is okay. This is a safe place to have anxiety. You know, this is a closet covered in soundproofing foam with this gorgeous sheet behind me that is not wrinkled at all. And I thought that synthetic fabrics couldn't fucking wrinkle, dude. I washed you on hot temperature and dried you on hot temperature. Why are you wrinkled? Because I shoved it in a bin for a couple weeks. That's why. I needed it, okay? I needed it. So, anyways, emotional support chocolate chips, very nice. And then Opal's last comment is scoring at the thrift store. We love scoring at the thrift store. What kind of stuff have you scored? You can't answer because this is one way, but it's just polite for me to ask questions. Apparently, I don't really like asking questions. I feel like it's prying. I feel like it's controlling and manipulative. I feel like it's dictating where the conversation goes. Why don't you just tell me what you want to tell me? Why are you making me do work Just tell me things. So one time I was at I guess the table wasn't okay. There we go. One time I was at a thrift store in New Jersey, and I found an Italian leather overnight weekender bag made out of leather, Italian leather, for $14, brand new or barely used. It didn't still have the tags on it. That's a power rush. I mean, that when you go to the thrift store and there's like the tags are on it, so you know that shit is fresh. You can even see the original. It was like originally $100. Now it's like 50 cents. It's just like it's like a cheat code. It's kind of like you cheated the system. It's kind of like you're getting back all that time that you wasted, you know. I understand you feel, look, I understand. I understand how you feel. I understand exactly how you feel. I'm reading your mind right now, okay? You are frustrated because you feel like sometimes you've been overextended and you have not been compensated for your reaching, okay? When you buy something at the thrift store that still has the tags on it, it's like a little bit of like you're getting some of that back. You know, you've been putting money in the slot machine and you feeling drained, and then you hit and you get some of that shit back, and you feel better. You feel good about that. I understand that. But let me tell you something, pal. Come here. Listen to your old pal, Matty. You can't keep score with life. It's exhausting. You can't do that, okay? I know. I want you to take care of yourself. I don't want you to feel overextended, and I don't want you to feel like you're taken advantage of. But you cannot. Can you tell I have ADHD? You cannot keep score like that, okay? I don't want you to get taken advantage of either. It fucking sucks, okay? No. But you can't keep score with life like that. It's exhausting. Life is not fair, and it's actually a good thing that life is not fair. Imagine if we all got what we deserved. You know what I mean? Whatever that even means, what we deserve, like what does that even mean? It's very subjective. But I don't want what I deserve. I want a mountain of beautiful life. That's what I want, right? And so it's good that life is not fair because we get to have all these wonderful things. If life was fair, what would that even be? I don't even know if our brains could I think it's a nonsensical question, right? So therefore, it's a nonsensical way to live and to hold yourself to that. And I know I'm like joking around. I'm trying to make you laugh and make you feel good and kind of suspend your problems for, 10 to 10. Well, these episodes are supposed to be 10 minutes, but so far this one's 28 minutes. 29 if you include the intro, which we will. But I want to give you a little bit of this. A little exhale. A little. Give yourself a break, dude. Okay? Give yourself a break. Don't keep score with life. Life is not fair, and that's a good thing. And it allows you to have good things happen to you. Because we are all not perfect. We've all fucked up. Maybe you've done a lot of really good things, but you've also fucked up. Okay? Whatever degree that is. And if you got what you deserved, I don't even know how we calculate that, but that's a scary thought. And if for some reason you feel like you don't feel that way, then you are probably a psychopath or a sociopath. And I don't want to end that sentence, so I'm just going to move on. But if you do have some empathy and you understand feelings, you know what I mean? It's nice that we don't get what we deserve because it allows us to have. I didn't even take an edible or smoke before this, but I feel like I'm going like this. Which is good because circles are beautiful. Okay? So you're welcome for that circle that I just gave to you. And that well, this came from Opal's comment of scores. Scoring at the thrift store. I've never been told that I have a stutter or that I stutter, and it was never brought up in school or my family or anything like that. And it's like I don't do it enough that it's like an identity or something that I bring up. But if you listen, I do sometimes, and my mom does it, and she'll do it if she's like worked up. And I think she passed it on to me. And like I said, it's not enough that it's like an identity, and I don't want to like appropriate stuttering culture, but that's what I'm doing. And but I like keeping it in. I like keeping it in. Okay. So thank you Opal for contributing your content. I really appreciate that. Thank you for being a part of our community. All right. Okay, so this next comment is from Jarowin. King Jarowin. Thank you, dude, so much for contributing. Let me know. I'm not sure if it's Jarowin, Jerowin, Jer-Owen. I don't know, but it's a fucking sick name, and I love it. I also love your last name, which I will not say because I'm helping maintain your privacy. The paparazzi are everywhere. Stalkers are everywhere. Fans can be great, but they can also suffocate you. I'm just trying to live a normal fucking life. Leave me alone by watching my content and obsessing over everything that I do so that I can have a career. Oh, God, it's exhausting. All right, Jay, thank you for your content, dude. Your contribution. My loved ones make me happy just existing. Winky face. Does that mean that you don't really believe that? Was that sarcasm? Do you not really believe it? My loved ones make me happy. What makes you happy? My loved ones make me happy just by existing. Making and listening to music makes me happy. You know what? Let's just read it and then we'll dissect it. Go. I never know. Should I like dissect it as I go or read it? We're gonna read it like a poem and then we'll dissect it. My loved ones make me happy just by existing. Making and listening to music makes me happy. Doing psychedelics or doing interesting other drugs can make me happy. Combining drugs with music can give me a feeling of happiness, sometimes quite lasting, even. Period. But eating nice food, being in good company, reading funny stuff, watching funny stories, and all that kind of stuff can do it too. Weirdly enough, sometimes having disappointment or trouble in life can bring happiness because they can shine a light on the small existing things that bring happiness. Happiness. Oh shit. There's a C more, but I screenshotted it so I didn't have to load it. We have to go back into it. Happiness is a bit of a weird thing and can be hard to define or find. ... Dude, I need to. Cliffhanger. It's a cliffhanger, dude. A little interim. I'm sorry for posting so much diarrhea content, but I just have to get it out of my system. didn't even see the Seymour. Oh, happiness is a bit of a weird thing and can be hard to define or find, yet also just suddenly pop up its little happy head. Oh, dude, I love that. I love that little it's like a little it's I was going to say it's like alliteration or metaphor. It's just a very descriptive. I can tell that you're an artist, dude, just by its little happy head. It was very Bob Ross. It was very Bob Ross. So let's go through this. My loved ones make me happy just by existing. This is very true. Okay. Um, I like to, when people are like, oh, what's the meaning of life? I say, you have to create your own meaning. And the way that I create my own meaning is two ways. One is who I love, and the second is what I love to do. So the people I'm passionate about and the activities that I'm passionate about. So if you have even just one person in life that you love who also loves you, that's the closest thing that we're ever going to get to magic and to like this mysterious shit of our reality, okay? And if you are out there and you do not have someone that you love who also loves you, there is always hope. There are always people that you will find. You have to be the one to put yourself out there, okay? This is going to be a little bit hard to hear because you're probably tired or beaten down or frustrated. You've got to make the first move. You got to make friends. You have to put yourself out there with people and see who reciprocates back. You have to be yourself. You have to be brave. You have to pick yourself up like Rocky. You get knocked down. You have to say hi to people in your apartment building. They might ignore you or laugh at you, but somebody will eventually recognize who you are and all of the good shit that you have to offer them. So you have to do that. And there's people in my life who I love and I've got them. And then I kind of feel like I don't know if I'll ever meet another person that I love. And then I just stumble across someone. I've met some new people recently. I'm in season 7 of my life. I've opened up a new chapter. There's new settings, new characters, new plot lines. There's some new people in my life who I really like. And I never thought, that they would exist, right? Because people don't exist until they exist in your reality. They're out there, but they're kind of like NPCs until they're kind of background actors until they have a speaking line, right? And then they become, a supporting character or a co-star or a lead character along with you, right? A main character with you. So there's always people that you can meet. There's always, and that's not me trying to like be fake positive and just like pander to make you feel better. It took me a very long time to make friends who like me for me, like who I really am on the inside. Is very hard. A lot of people think I'm weird, which is true, I am, but a lot of people kind of just like enjoyed the brand of me and not the person of me, right? They thought I was funny or interesting, but then when I had like sadness, they didn't want to deal with that, right? And so you have to put yourself out there to find people who want to be there for the good parts and they want to be there for the bad parts, because friendship, and this is something that some people don't want to hear, friendship is not all fun. Friendship is not just somebody to goof off with and just get drunk on the weekends and just hang out with, and then when things get hard, they leave. That we need a new term for that. That's like a friendly acquaintance, or that's like like to me, like I want inner circle friends. I think we need a new term for like the just getting drunk on the weekend friends versus like the people you could call like when you're like somebody dies and you're like crying and you need to like talk to somebody. Because I don't really do, like, I'm okay with friendly acquaintances and they're like, I'm like chill, but I like inner circle people. I like ride or die people. And I always kind of say friendship should be 80% fun and easy and simple and connection and go with the flow and just happens naturally and organically, and 20% hard work and difficult. It's not 75-25. I don't think it's 3/4 and 1/4. I think it's a little bit more. It's 80%. Um, I like that amount. I've always kind of liked that amount. Like 80% should be jokes and memes and hanging out, and goofing off, and then 20% is like, how are you doing, dude? Like what can I help you with? You know, how can I listen to you? How can I be there for you, even if it's not fun for me? It's not always fun. I had that. I said that with some one time. One of my friends said, "Oh, this isn't fun for me." I was like, "It's not always gonna be fun. It's not always gonna be fun." Because the truth is, life is crazy. It doesn't make sense. We're on a rock flying through outer space. We could be living inside of a simulation. We are. And we're trying. We got bills to pay. We're happy. We're sad. Your grandma dies. Somebody gets sick. Somebody laughs. Somebody gets a job promotion. Somebody sells a piece of art. Somebody gets their heart broken. It's messy. It's messy. And people are lonely. And they wonder why they're lonely. And it's because they don't know how to be a friend. How to be yourself and help your friends. When it's not easy, when it's not fun, when it's difficult, you are a friend. You trust them. You don't control them. You don't make them feel guilty. If it's been a week, if it's been 3 months, you use discernment for that nuance of, okay, it's been a week for this friend is long for them, because they're very extroverted, but for 3 months for this friend who's very introverted, that's not a long time. So things aren't even, right? You could have 2 friends, and one you haven't talked to in a week, and one you haven't talked to in 3 weeks, and that's the same time, because it works differently, right? I have one buddy I text constantly all the time. I have one buddy I I texted him on his birthday, "Hey man, happy birthday! I love you. You want me to DoorDash you a cupcake?" He didn't respond. I know he's not going to respond because he's very introverted, but I know that he feels good that he hears that from me. But I know that like a month later he's going to text me a meme or whatever. And I know how that communication works, right? Whereas if my other friend, if he didn't respond, then I'm like, something's wrong. Whole thing is, what makes us happy in life is people. And if you don't have people, you can. I know you might feel cynical or jaded or tired. I know that you've been trying, okay? But there's almost 8 billion people, and you can find friends. It's going to take work. It's going to take putting yourself out there. It's just like dating. You get rejection. You put yourself out. I mean, there's not the physical, right? Friends are people we love on the inside, all right? So it's not that component, but still, I mean, I said hi to one of my neighbors. I had just gotten a pizza delivered. I wasn't gonna eat I was like, "Hey man, you want a slice of pizza?" Like, and he laughed. He didn't even look at me. He laughed in my face and walked out of the elevator. It hurts, right? But I got another friend who I met in my building, and he's fucking awesome. I've got 2 friends that I've met in my building. They're both fucking awesome. And so you got to put yourself out there, and you got to take chances and risks. And you're going to get hurt because life is messy, but you're also going to find really cool people. You can find people. Stop laying in the sadness of loneliness and try. Okay? Watch Rocky. Watch the movie Rocky. You should watch all of them, but just watch the first one. Picks himself up, okay? Picks himself up and try again. It's very important. But I love this too. I love my friends. And so them just kind of being out there in the world is very beautiful. I did a whole rant, and that went on a pretty long time. Uh, my little peekaboo foam. But I really believe in that. I really feel that way, and I really feel strongly talking about that because it took me a very long time to make friends. And then when I did make friends, they weren't really friends. It's just kind of like they just like have you around. And it took me a very long time to make friends, but now I have a couple friends who I've had for a long time, and we've been through ups and downs. And I feel like I can really speak on this. It's something I'm very passionate about. And also, before I move on from the front, I just want to say too that like you can have different friends for different things too. For example, like I said, my one buddy, real extroverted. We text memes back and forth. My other buddy, very introverted. I know he loves me. I'm there if he needs me. He's there if I need him. When my grandma died, like if I called him, he didn't pick up. But I texted him. My grandma died. He called me right away and talking to him. But like you can have your friend that you see, you know, at the gym, the rock climbing gym, the bowling alley, you play Magic the Gathering, you see, it's like a yoga class, or like you ride bikes on the boardwalk or some shit, and you see, you can, they're just there, right? And maybe their role in your life is like, hey man, what's up? And just a little joy there. And then maybe you do have your friends who, you can call at 10 at night and say, I am having an anxiety attack. I need to talk to somebody, right? And so I think too, we don't have to put the pressure on ourselves. I don't know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. I don't know where I'm going with this. I just feel very passionately about you can make friends. Okay? You can make friends. I would like this piece of hair to make friends with the rest of my hair. He's like, no, I'm standing out. Let's wrap up this segment, Maddie. You can find people who will love you. You got to put yourself out there, okay? That's enough of that. I'm going to say your name differently every time, Jay. I love it. Jeroen. I love it, dude. Music is so beautiful. Music takes us to a place that we can't get to by ourselves. I love... Well, my favorite thing to do after taking an edible is watch movies. Movies is my favorite form of art because movies collage everything. They collage emotions, music, visuals, color, comedy, drama. It puts everything together. So talking, conversation, emotion. So movies are my favorite art form. And if I'm honest, they've always been my favorite art form. And it's because who I truly am is a collage artist. I like mushing things together. Now, I use different mediums to create that art, whether it be in the real world of like painting a painting, or like online of like making a podcast, of collaging words and thoughts and feelings. But I just like mixing shit together. That's what like I've always been really interested in, is combining things. I do that with my clothes a lot. Like, I don't ever wear like all one brand or like all one set. Like, my outfit will be like this pair of pants from this brand, and this belt from that brand, and this shirt from here, and this cardigan from there, and I just kind of like mixing that shit together, and maybe like, oh, this is like a sports jersey, so it's very jock-esque, but I'm gonna mix it with these like ripped tight skinny jeans, which is very like emo, but I'm gonna wear flip-flops, which is very like California. Like, so I like kind of just like having fun with that. So I like having fun with just like how I dress myself. So I love edibles with movies. So Jay's saying edibles with music, and also creating music, which is a wonderful thing. Creating art in any form, and it could be painting, it could be writing, it could be woodworking, it could be building a board game, It could be starting your own plumbing business, streaming video games on Twitch. Like it makes you feel good. That's another thing. If you want to feel good about yourself, create something. There's something very primal of when, like, I used to be a caveman, of like, we made things. We used to make everything. Now we buy everything. And so, like, if you just literally make something, it gives you a sense of accomplishment and creativity, and it taps into that primal, like, cave person thing of like, and it could be, you know, it could be really anything. Write like a 5-sentence poem. Make a peanut butter and jelly. Make a peanut butter and jelly and fry it in butter in a frying pan. It'll change your life. Looks like another hour-long episode. Woo! You're welcome. Follow my podcast. They're only 10-minute episodes. Really easy to digest. Oh no, am I going to have enough content? Cue Matty's ADHD tangents. Yes, you will have enough content. Should I just split this into 10 episodes? 10-minute episodes of like, oh, will I have enough content? Yeah, I will. Too much. Eating food. Oh, take an edible. Get a bowl of ice cream. Watch a movie. Wearing sweatpants. Cuddled up maybe with somebody. Who knows? Funny shit. Oh yeah. Oh, another thing I love bad movies when I'm stoned. I love and I don't mean like I love like indie and I don't mean like indie movies that win Oscars. I mean like indie movies that, like, you don't know any of these actors. I love them because they are making art. It's not cookie cutter. And the edible just allows you to be in it. And it's just like nice to see somebody tell a story that's not been told a billion times. Jarowin, I know you're an artist, dude. I can feel it. So I love that you make music. I love that you make art. Sometimes, okay, so Jay's going to point out, is it okay if I call you Jay? Well, it's my podcast, so I can do whatever I want. I say it with love. Jay, sometimes the shadow proves the sunshine, doesn't it, dude? Sometimes we get real desensitized to things, right? So sometimes that can prove it. Weirdly enough, sometimes having disappointment or trouble in life can bring happiness because they can shine a light on the small existing things that bring happiness. I'm going to brag about myself just for just for a minute. Like, I've been doing it the whole fucking episode. Something I like about myself is I get excited about little things. I can eat a candy bar and be stoked. Like, I can be so happy about it. So that's something I do like about myself is sometimes life's pretty hard and I get kind of cynical about things. But I watch movies and I'm like, this is amazing. Look at what these people did. Or palm trees. Every single time I see a palm tree, it makes me happy. You guys probably notice I use the palm tree emoji a lot in my content, and like when people like comment and I want to like comment back to like thank them for commenting, but I'm not sure what to say, I do a little palm tree just like for like good vibes. I love palm trees. I think they're ridiculous. It's just this giant pole with this little flop of hair up top. I call them Dr. Seuss trees. It's just like with this little mullet. They're basically mullet trees. It's just this giant pole with just a little psh. They look like fireworks. They look like exploding fireworks suspended in time. Psh. That's what they look like. Psh. That's what they look like. Exploding fireworks suspended in time, frozen. I love them. So right now I live in California and I see them and I love them and they make me so happy just looking at them. It's just like they're so ridiculous. I love how eccentric and dramatic and avant-garde they are. Um, I love being reminded that I live in California. I know California has its problems, but it's just, I just love it. I love it. I love the sunshine. I love the possibility. I love just I just love it. I love it. I go to the beach, I go for a walk, I watch the surfers, I wear sunscreen so the sun doesn't murder me, and I release, good chemicals in my brain. Which I just saw this video of I wasn't sure if it was serotonin or endorphin. The serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin, and dopamine. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it's an endorphin or serotonin, but they showed like the molecule moving, and it was this little protein that had the endorphin, and it had these little feet, and it was like crawling with the endorphin, and it was like dragging it, and they were like, you were literally watching happiness. If I can find a photo or video of it, I'll play it right here. But if you don't see anything, it's because I couldn't find it. But that was like really cool to see. So yeah, and sometimes the bad things can, and they can, like, putting things into perspective, right? Let's say you're a big Wall Street CEO executive, and then, maybe your kid goes in the hospital. And you're like, hey, I've been working, 300 hours a week, and I didn't go to my kid's school play, and now my kid is in the hospital. I'm a piece of shit, and I should pay attention to my fucking child that I had. You did it. The child didn't just show up. You did it, okay? You did it. Whether biologically or through adoption, you have this kid. So pay attention to them, okay? Before they grow up and they hate you. Pay attention to your children. You see how angry I am at this imaginary character? Because he's out there. He's out there. Happiness is a weird thing. It's hard to describe or find, but it can pop up its happy little head. Jay coming in with the Bob Ross vibes. We love it. Happy little head popping up out of the snow like daisies. If you know where that's from, you're a real one. So happiness, I was talking to my sister today, and I was talking about how, like, asking somebody, are you happy? Humans are so volatile, right? It's like asking somebody, like, if you're like, what color are your eyes? And I'm like, my eyes are brown. I have brown eyes. I always have brown eyes. It's a constant. It's never going to change. I always have brown eyes. I'm not always happy. I don't think that being happy is like having brown eyes, where it's just all the time. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I'm scared, sometimes I'm lonely, sometimes I'm over suffocated with attention. Not really. I'm just saying that to seem relatable. I don't get over suffocated. Please suffocate me. And you need alone time. I don't need alone time. I don't need alone time. You know what I mean? But we fluctuate. We're volatile beings. We're all, sorry, Mike. We're all, my microphone's named Mike, with a K, M-I-K-E. M-I-C is what he is, but his name is M-I-K-E. Which, there's no K in Michael. It's an H. So what's going on? I don't understand these things. It's just like if your name's Jacob, but your name's Jake. Why isn't it J-A-C-E? Where's that K come from? There's no K in your name. Explain these things. We're volatile beings, and so being happy is not like having brown eyes. It's not a constant. It's not an identity. It's not a... We're like a Rubik's Cube that's always changing, and sometimes the side is all one color, but usually it's all different types of colors. If you're a nonlinear ADHD metaphorical thinker, then you'll love my podcast. And if you aren't, I would just like to say Thank you for taking a chance on me, and just enjoy the ride. Just hold on tight. Just put on your seatbelt and strap in, because it's going to be a ride. It's like in the movie Interstellar, where they're riding the black hole event horizon, and shit's just getting really intense. Jero, and dude, thank you so much for that contribution. It's very beautiful contribution, and I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of Delusions of Grandeur with Matty K community. I see you holding up the community, and I appreciate it, dude. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We got Shannon. Yo, you got that diamond next to your name. Top fan this week, Shannon. Opal, you got that diamond next to your name too. You top fan this week. Thank you guys very much. Shannon, okay, so Shannon's contribution is: music makes me happy. Animals make me happy. My loved ones make me happy. My friends make me happy. Dark humor makes me happy. Good food, good books, good movies, all make me happy. All good reiterations. Shannon coming in and just kind of gluing all of this stuff together that we talked about, and just kind of reiterating all of these things, which is a good connection, which shows us that humans have a lot in common, which tells us that we can share these experiences with people. Animals, that's a big one. Dude, I want a dog so bad. I actually want 2 dogs, because I feel like if I get 1 dog, if I leave the house, he might be anxious and lonely. But if I got 2 dogs, they'd like keep each other company. So even though 2 dogs is technically more work than 1 dog, I feel like they would support each. This LaCroix is like coming back up. It's fighting me. I feel like they don't look directly into the ring light. It'll blind you. I feel like if I got 2 dogs, they could like chill with each other, you know what I mean? And be like hanging out, and they'd feel like less anxious. So that's my take on that. Music. Music turns your life into a movie. Music gives you a soundtrack. When you're driving on the highway, the windows down, blaring dopamine-inducing music, and you just, you're, accepting an Oscar in your head for the 7th time. Not the 7th time thinking that, the 7th Oscar. This isn't my first time, okay? Thank you. It feels good. It feels good, dude. Food, yes, of course we love food. Friends, dark humor because comedy is the medicine. Comedy is the human way of dealing with tragedy. You're never going to get rid of tragedy, so don't take away the medicine of comedy. Comedy it's healing. Okay? We need comedy. We need jokes. We need to understand that jokes are not laws. We need to understand that comedians are not politicians. We need to understand that things can be funny because you believe them. It's also things can be funny because you don't believe them. Things are nuanced. A lot of comedians are on your side. They're trying to bring levity. And a lot of comedians have been through some sad shit, and that's why they're funny. Some of the funniest people probably have been through the hardest shit. So that's something to keep in mind too. I think some people feel like maybe comedians are like up here trying to like kick you while you're down. Whereas I'm like, no, the joke is up here, but they're down here with you trying to lift you up to the joke. They're not trying to bring you down. They're trying to bring you up. Shannon, thank you for your contribution. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad all of those things make you happy. I hope that you are happy. I hope you, if you're not in this moment, I hope you are in the pursuit of happiness. All right, so that's everybody from Facebook. Let's move over to Instagram. We got Linda, who said, being with people who love me and accept me for exactly who I am. especially my granddaughter. And then the emoji with the hearts all around it. I got some grandmas in the fan base. Thank you. That's fucking awesome. Got some grandma fans. This is pretty rad. Linda, thank you. Yes. You need to be loved for who you are. If people love a performance of you, they don't actually love you for you, and that's a problem, okay? I know you're scared to be yourself because you tried to be yourself when you were a kid and you got bullied and made fun of. It's time to be yourself. This is exhausting. Life is hard enough trying to be somebody else. It's time to be yourself. You're strong enough to do it. You can do it, okay? I feel like I'm holding your hand, and that's okay. But let's rip the Band-Aid off, and let's do it, okay? And you can start small. But yeah, you deserve to be yourself. Everybody else is doing what they want. You should be able to as well. And your granddaughter, that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm very happy that you have that love. My friends recently had a baby, and they're calling me Uncle Matty, and I feel very honored to be in my little nephew's life. I'm very excited. I'm gonna see him in less than a week. I made him a blanket. I wrote him a letter a month ago and mailed it to him. I made him this little wooden box to keep his all his birthday cards and Christmas cards and stuff through the year, so that when he's old enough to read, he can look back on them and read. Very excited. So I do not have a granddaughter, but that's me trying to make a connection with you, Linda, that these new little people pop up into our lives, and it's very beautiful, and it's really cool. So thank you, Linda, for contributing. And look at me having grandmas in the fan base, Matty K fan demographic all over the place. Yeah, no, it's actually really funny because I thought a lot of when I started this specific project, this podcast, I thought that I'd have a lot of Gen Z and millennial dudes into the content, but it's a lot, which I love. It's a lot of Gen X and baby boomer ladies. A lot. Thank you, queens, for holding up the podcast and the brand and the community and the dogwmk content. I thank you. We stan a queen. So this okay, so this is from Sarah. Sarah sent me a very nice message. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah says, "Hi. Thank you for being so vulnerable." I think she's talking about my chicken nugget addiction. "I've also been feeling really down lately." Let me just read the whole thing. "Hi, thank you for being..." It's so... Oh, my ADHD brain wants to jump in with little improvs. "Hi, thank you for being so vulnerable. I've also been feeling really down lately. It helps knowing I'm not the only one. These things help too. Yacht Rock, Clean Sheets, Great British Baking Show, Sunshine. Stay cool, dude. I appreciate you. Sarah." Sarah, thank you for this beautiful message. A couple questions. Thank you for saying that I've been being very vulnerable. Yeah, I'm just an extrovert without a filter, and I hate liars and lying. I have been told by people in my life I should be a little more performancy and a little less me, but I feel like that would be really exhausting, so I just kind of I'm not afraid to be happy and also be sad, you know? And that's something too that you have to practice. Sometimes being vulnerable takes practice. It's very risky, but it's about you, right? It's not about how people react, because some people are going to make fun of you and some people are going to be like you and be very kind and make a connection, but that shouldn't change what you do. I've also been feeling really down lately. I'm sorry that you're feeling down, Sarah. Thank you for sharing that. I want you to know that you are strong enough to pick yourself up. It's okay to feel it, right? I'm not saying ignore it. Cry, scream, go for a run, break something, be cathartic, get it out of your system. You're a human, you're not a robot. It's okay to feel these things, okay? And then, like Rocky, if you haven't watched Rocky, watch Rocky. It's a documentary. Pick yourself up and go and do it. Try something. And it helps to know I'm not the only one. You're not the only one. Okay? We see beautiful people on social media doing beautiful things, and a lot of it's true. And a lot of it's a tip of the iceberg, and we're not seeing these other situations. It's kind of something that I struggle with when I'm like creating content of like, I want to be positive. I want to create positivity. I don't want to bring people problems. I want to bring people solutions and escapism and comedy and all of those things. But I also want to be real. I want to have depth. I don't want to be fake. I want people to feel like, I don't want people to feel like everything is perfect all the time. I want people to know that the reason I want to make people laugh and make jokes is because I understand the pain of it. It's a very hard line to walk sometimes because I don't want to be negative. I don't want to bring people down. I don't want to bring my problems to other people and be like, now you deal with them. But I do, and so I want to have fun and make you laugh, but I also want it to be like authentic. And that's an interesting line to walk. It's an interesting thing that people have been dealing with the explosion of the internet and the content creation and the influencers and the live streamers and the YouTubers, because before, public figures were like actors and they were in movies. Maybe you saw them do interviews, but even those were to be like curated by their publicists. Or maybe athletes got interviewed after games, but it was about the game, and so it's very new for public figures or celebrities or content creators, influencers, live streamers, YouTubers, podcasters to kind of like merge performing and like truth of their life together. I would say that the closest thing were probably stand-up comedians, because they would be performing, but they take shit from their real life and do that. But like actors weren't really doing that. Athletes weren't really doing that unless they did like activism outside of their careers. But this is like a very interesting time of people kind of being like, you get the three-dimensional picture of someone, right? You don't just get the joke, but you get the like, this is how I'm feeling today. It's interesting. Reality television kind of was pushing at that too. But influencers, content creators, YouTubers, live streamers, podcasters, that's like this new, and it's very new. It's very new, right? So it's very, because like this, what I'm doing right now, it's performance, it's also truth. It's both at the same time. It's a very interesting thing. It's a very nuanced concept. So you're not the only one. So these things help. This is what Sarah says help. Yacht rock. What? Yacht rock? Oh yeah, yacht rock. Is that when you throw a rock at a yacht? Is that when you throw a yacht at a rock? Was that a Titanic joke? Was that dark humor? People died on the Titanic. People died on the Titanic recently, right? How dare you? How dare you try and make us laugh? After I read this comment, I'm blocking you. Clean sheets are dope. Dude, I never wash my bed sheets. I really don't. It's just too much work. But when you do, they're so crisp and clean. It's amazing, but you can tell that they're clean. I don't know how. I don't know if your skin has like taste buds, but you can tell that your sheets are clean. It's just like, how? taste buds on your skin. They're everywhere. Great British Baking Show. I believe in diversity. I believe in free will. And if you want to watch the Great British Baking Show and that makes you happy, I support you. That's all I'm going to say about that, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. And sunshine, dude, sunshine. Sometimes if you're sad, you need to just like put on sunscreen so the sun doesn't eat you. Get some sunshine, vitamin D, take vitamin D gummy, drink a glass of water, go for a walk. Specifically, if you can find a walk near a body of water, even if it's just a pond or a stream, there's something scientific about humans. We see water, makes us happy, because when we were cave people, we needed water or we would die. Okay, so it's just these primal. We used to walk everywhere. We walked constantly. That's what we did. It makes you feel alive. You sweat. You feel like it all these cliche, corny, lame catchphrase things are true. Drink water, get sleep, go for a walk, get sunshine, tell someone you love them, make something with your hands, and you feel better. I understand you might have something going on chemically in your brain, or you might have an illness, or you might have situational struggles. Okay, I understand that. I understand that going for a walk is not going to bring your dead grandma back to life. I get it. But you can't change that your grandma died. You can change if you get up off your ass and go for a walk. Okay? This is what happened to you. You can't control that. This is what you do with it. You can control this. This is my clamp. It's how I hang that sheet up. But I'm also using it to fidget with. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And thank you for being vulnerable with us. All right. This is from Heather on Instagram. Anytime I'm feeling down, lost, alone, I reach out to everyone, minus the people it wouldn't make sense, aka the plumber. Even long lost friends, etc. And I just start a conversation with, hey, I've been thinking about you. How are you doing? And I always make sure to keep the convo on them. And then I get to reconnect with people I care about, and I remember that I am indeed not alone, not lost, and it gets me out of my head. I then extend that to strangers. I force myself to engage somehow with people in the public and smile, open a door, or start a conversation about them. Again, forces your brain to shift onto others. Something about being selfless and generous and grateful for these little interactions helps me a ton. Heather, you hit the nail on the fucking head. I love this response so much because Heather is not a victim. Heather is taking initiative. Heather's not controlling what happens to you, but what you do. So you have these feelings, feeling sad, down, you pick yourself up and you do something about it, right? You don't just let life dictate to you. You say who you are. You don't get told who you are. I love that attitude. You're proactive. You reach out to people, okay? And you reconnect and you make it about them, right? That's a great thing too. Because now you are giving people joy as opposed to like requesting joy from people, which when you give joy, you get joy back directly just from yourself and then indirectly from them. And that's a great way too of just being like, you remind yourself you're not alone, you're not lost, because that's a hard feeling is when you're feeling alone. Gets you out of your head, because life is happening out here. I know that life is a hallucination in your brain, right? You don't see with your eyes, you see with your brain, that kind of a thing. Right? Because it's like, oh, you breathe with your mouth and your nose. It's like, well, if you cut a little hole here, you could breathe through here too. You breathe with your lungs. You don't really breathe with your mouth or your nose. You breathe with your lungs. So it's like, right, this life is happening out here, even though we experience it in our heads. Sometimes we're experiencing it too much in our heads. And then I extend that to strangers. You force yourself to engage with people. I love that too, right? Because sometimes things aren't always fun. Sometimes you're excited to go to the gym. Sometimes you're not excited to go to the gym, but you go to the gym. You have that discipline, right? I feel this way about art. You don't need to be inspired. You need discipline. You want to be a writer? Write something. Oh, I'm not inspired. Doesn't matter. Oh, I have writer's block. Doesn't matter. Open up your laptop. Start writing. I have writer's block. I don't know what to write. I'm staring at a blank screen. This blank screen is blank. It's white. It's white like vanilla ice cream, and I feel lost, like lost in the white snow. Look, there you go. You're being creative. Do it. You have to do the thing. You don't need to be inspired. You need to do it. Is it nice if people believe in you? Yeah. Is it nice if you believe in yourself? Yeah. But you don't even need to believe in yourself. You just need to do the thing. Oh, I want to be a New York Times best-selling novel writer. I wish my friends believe in me, but they don't. I don't even know if I believe in me. It doesn't matter. It's nice if you believe in yourself, but you don't need to. Just write. You just have to do the thing. Oh, I can't bring myself to it. That's where discipline comes in. And this is coming someone with ADHD executive dysfunction. Okay. Like you have to, and sometimes you'll make some shit, but then you'll make some good stuff. I'm not a big believer in like having a thing in here and doing it and it's that thing. I always discover stuff as I make it. I never know how stuff's going to be. I record a podcast episode. I don't really know what it's going to be. I thought today's episode was going to be done in like 12 minutes. We're at like an hour and 22 minutes. You're welcome. But you have to force it. Open the door for somebody, ask the cashier how their day is going, smile at somebody. These are risky things. These are you getting out of your head and doing them. But I like the words you use. Again, forces your brain to shift onto others. I really like that because sometimes you don't, what if I didn't eat any vegetables today? I force myself to eat my green gummies so I can get nutrients, right? Sometimes you got to do things that aren't fun. Something about being selfless and generous with these little interactions helps me a ton. Sometimes if I'm somewhere and some dude is just like, and like, hey man, like cool hair. It makes me feel so for the rest of the day. You never know. You say something. Oh, like cool shoes, dude. Like somebody could carry that with them, or it could just lift. It's such like it sounds so like lame, but it's so true. And if we said nice things to each other, I think life would be a lot more fun. I think people are scared. They don't want to bother people. They don't want people to feel like they're going to ask them for something. They don't know how someone's going to react. Maybe they might not know if it's safe or not. You don't know people from anything. You can try and use discernment skills, but I mean, you'd be amazed. Like some people you might think don't look very nice and they turn out to be very, very kind. And some people you think are going to be nice. This one lady, I was at the arts and crafts supply store and I overheard this lady on the phone. Like she needed help, like looking at some, yarn. And I was going to like, oh, like I can help. I know about yarn. I can help. And she was so mean to me. She was so fucking mean to me. And it took me aback because she was like, I don't know. I'm not good with telling age. She was like 50 to 70. I don't know. She could have been 50. She could have been 60. She could be 70. I don't know. She had like a lot of gray hair. And I was like, ooh, grandma vibes. Like she's going to be very sweet. She's going to call me sweetheart or something. She did not. She was a fucking piece of shit is what she was towards me in that moment. So it can be scary. But I like this response, Heather. Continue doing this. This is great. And I love that you're not the victim. I love that you're proactive in your happiness. I love that. Okay. Jigsaw says you. Well, I saw one of the Saw movies when I was younger, and I haven't slept since. So please don't lock me in a basement because I will not play the game. I'll just sit there and die. If you're like, let's play a game. No, Matty doesn't play games. I'm not fake. I don't do that shit. I don't play games. I keep it real, okay? If you clamp my in this, okay. I guess I got a clamp now. It's a new piercing because I'm not playing that game. So please do not stalk me, Jigsaw. So this is, I believe your name is Adrian. Adrian. Adrian says swimming in rivers that are cold but not super cold. Nevada, the state of even though I live in Northern Cali, I love skipping over to Nevada for the views. The old mines, the bars, even though I quit alcohol, the wild horses, and the hot springs. Thank you for clarifying that Nevada is a state. Oh, I like Nevada, the state, not the ketchup. Are you thinking about Nevada, the tofu? I'm talking about Nevada, the state. Nevada or Nevada. You know what I mean? I bet 80 says Nevada because that's what I've heard in like Colorado. Dude, Nevada's cool. But thank you for giving us this new cool shit because when I think of Nevada, I think of crab legs at the buffets in Vegas. And I think of Area 51. I think of aliens and the government. But I have heard of like Reno and Tahoe, like Lake Tahoe area. This is interesting. The views, beautiful. I bet there's like a lot of cool rocks. Old mines. I would love to explore old mines. I would like to try and find some diamonds, some coal, maybe an old treasure map, an old note in a bottle, a corn. Corn. I don't know why there would be corn. Maybe somebody ate corn on their lunch break. I don't know. I don't know why I said corn. Or maybe I do, and I can't tell you. That would be so cool. Like caves. Basically, mines are like man-made caves. If you want to go into a cave, but you're like, this is too natural, and you want something a little bit more like man-made, check out a mine. No, but that looks so cool with like the wood over top of it. I really want to do that now. Maybe I could go do that. The bars, even though you quit alcohol, I quit alcohol too because of my heart. I take this little heart pill, and if I drink alcohol, it cancels out the heart pill. So just marijuana for me, please. Marijuana and sugar. I just get when I go to bars, I get a club soda with lime. And then the wild horses and the hot springs. Wild horses. It's really interesting to think of some animals as being wild, right? Because you think of like a squirrel and you're like, that's cool. But then you think of like, I think of horses as being like, people have them, but that they're still wild horses. I wonder if they've always been wild. Or if they were just like set free. And they're just like the descendants. Like I wonder if they've always escaped like humans. Wild horses, that's crazy. I would give them apples. And the hot springs. Hot springs sounds cool. It sounds like a jacuzzi. But it might make me nervous that like lava could boil up and kill me. But as long as that doesn't happen, I feel like that's pretty good. 80, Adrian, thank you for your contribution. And enjoy Nevada or Nevada, whichever state you go to. This next one is from Samantha. Samantha says the first snow of the season. It looks like vanilla ice cream and marshmallow, and I want to eat it. It's a very beautiful sentiment. The first snow of the I do love I love snow in December, and that's it. Sometimes it snows in October. It mostly snows in February. Once January 1st hits, I'm ready for spring. I feel like winter should end December 31st. Like it should be like 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. It's spring. I like this is if I could make reality, this is the reality. January through April is spring. May is a hybrid month. June, July, August, summer. Powerhouse. Nothing changes. September, October, November, fall. Pumpkin pie. Apple cider. Cozy fireplace blankets. Good movies. Then December's winter, and that's it. It's 1 month of winter. It snows every day. It snows December 1st. It snows every day. And then January 1st is spring again. Fuck March. March 3rd will be like snowy slush, and then March like 17th is like sweat. March is confused. You know what I'm getting at. And I don't like it. It might be controversial, but I just feel like March needs to figure out if it's winter or spring. It wants to be blended, which maybe, I mean, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, March has free will. So maybe it should be allowed to just straddle seasons. I can't control March. It's its own thing. 1/12 out of the year, it rules. So maybe I should just relax and let March be its nuanced, complicated, layered, blended, collaged self. I've changed my mind. March, you do you. I support you. I believe in you. Samantha, thank you for that. That's a very beautiful sentiment. Snow. All right, our last submission is from Crystal. Crystal had a very beautiful message too. I've always had depression, but when my mother passed away a few years ago, it became uncontrollable. It has its ups and downs since then, but what helps bring the happiness back is having small moments just for me. Having something to wake up to, a special coffee, a meal, reading affirmations, reading a book I've been excited for, buying myself something I've been wanting. As weird as it sounds, sometimes I just allow myself to cry it out. It feels so much better after. I feel like I can get back to smiling and living. Maybe that's more grief. I'm not sure. Anyway, I hope that helps. It does help. It does help, Crystal. A lot of people deal with depression, and depression can be many things, but sometimes depression is a thing in your brain with chemical or mental health situations you're dealing with, or situational, and sometimes it's it kind of comes and goes, right? And so both things are valid, and both things have to be addressed for your health. Sometimes it can be one or the other. Sometimes it could be both. When your mother passed away, thank you for sharing that with us. I know that's a very personal thing. Thank you for being vulnerable with us about that. Uncontrollable. That's such, and I mean this in a positive way, that's such a beautiful thing when you think about, because this is how I think about dealing with losing loved ones, because I lost my grandma, and she's very close. I was very close to her. She's the only person I've lost that I've really loved and knew. Is how beautiful that you love someone so much that it causes that grief. I heard somebody say the other day that his brother passed away and it still makes him sad, and he says I hope it always makes me sad, because if it didn't make me sad, then I didn't love my brother, or I'm not missing him, or that pain, it reminds me of how great he was, right? And I think about that with like my grandma, of like, if I didn't really care or love her, it wouldn't really hurt. The fact that it hurts is that she loved me so much and I loved her. And how beautiful to have those people. And time is a place to put all of the events of existence, because we can't all exist at once, even though that's quantum physics. That's how many people believe that reality exists in one moment, but we go through time so we can experience it. But we have a place to put your mother and a place to put my grandmother, and they go in places, right? And so my grandmother went into the place from, you know, my childhood and my teens and my 20s. Like, that's where she exists. And your mother exists where, you know, she was with you. And I was really comforted by when that person said, like, I hope I always feel sad when I think about my brother, because he's so amazing that of course it hurts. And that hurt is, you know, my grandma was like a river of love that flowed into my life. And then when she died, that stream dried up. The faucet got turned off. And I felt I was sad for her, but I was, to be honest, I was it's like selfishly, I was sad because I had less love flowing into my life. You know, let's just be real. I missed her and I was upset for her. She's 94. She lived her life. She wasn't going to be around forever. I am missing out on that love. It dries up, right? I'm, you know, and so it means something. And I think that pain and that grief is a reminder of the love that exists, that can't be touched, that will always exist in that moment. And you know that. And it can't be taken away. Even if the person's taken away, the love that they gave you is untouchable because it's suspended in that moment, in that place of time. If we think about time as a place, and that can't be destroyed. And these are just words, right? Maybe they make you feel better. Maybe they don't make you feel better. I hope they do. That's what humans connecting and sharing things with is. We can't control, right, our reality. So we control the reality that we create with each other and with ourselves. And these are things I tell myself to feel better when I think about my grandmother. That love can't be touched. And I just really liked, I think it was the actor Billy Bob Thornton. You could probably Google or YouTube like Billy Bob Thornton talking about his brother and it'll come up. I think that's who it was. It just really struck me when he was like, I hope that I always feel sad when I think about him and angry that he's not here, because I hope it always hurts, because like he was, I think he said something like it should hurt. If I can find a clip, I'll play it. I'll put it right here, or I'll just play it and you can hear it. I'm still learning about all of that fair use legal stuff. But I just really liked that it should hurt. And that's kind of going back to what Jarrow said too, about sometimes how the shadow proves the sunshine, right? Or the pain can open up those things. And I think too, that's why life is beautiful, because it doesn't last forever, because it could end at any moment. And that's why we only have so much time. Time is the most valuable and expensive thing that you can give to somebody, which is also a thing. Pay attention who gives you their time, because time is the most expensive thing. It's the only thing you can't get back. You can't get more of. You only have what you have. You don't even know how much you have. That's like having a bank account, but you don't know how much money is in the bank account, and you have to just go about your day. Kind of terrifying, right? But it just maybe makes you more aware of all those purchases, right? And so because we don't know how much time we have, maybe we're more aware of how we spend that time, right? I like to let the people in my life know that they're important to me by giving them my time. I also try to do that with my podcast and my content and my brand, of showing, like, responding to people, commenting back on people's comments, and showing them that they spend time with my content and I want to spend time with them, and that I acknowledge that their time is valuable and that I don't take it for granted, and that they're not just a number, they're an actual person with a life. And the fact that you want to be involved with me and share in my art and literally help me build my career, because if you don't have people supporting you, you literally cannot do a career in any way, especially the entertainment industry, the art industry, whether it's podcasting, acting, um, uh, live streaming, stand-up, clothing brand that I secretly have that none of you know about. Maybe a couple of you know about. Depends how good you are at stalking. So yeah, it makes it more appreciable. So thank you for sharing. I just made all of that about me. I'm trying to make a connection. Uh, Crystal's being vulnerable, talking about your mom, and I'm just like, this is me. Thank you for sharing that, Crystal. I really appreciate that. I don't know exactly how you feel at all, of course. I do know how I felt about my grandma. My grandma died. I didn't brush my teeth for 2 months. So I hope that any of the things that I said help, because what you're sharing with us is helping me and helping everybody watching and listening. I also, you're reiterating the small things, which I love: a coffee, a meal, eat a candy bar, makes you feel good, right? And don't feel guilty about it. Enjoy. If you're going to do something, enjoy it. Reading a book. I do need to read more. Story of my life. It's funny because when I do read, I do enjoy it. I'm like, I should do this more. I just never think about it. I'm always like, ooh, a movie. I'm very visual. Buying yourself something you've been wanted. Hey, I like the honesty. We all do it. A lot of people don't bring that up, but thank you for being truthful. Yeah. Buy something that you want. It makes you feel good, and you deserve to do that. Cry it out. A word that I love is catharsis. We are humans. We're not robots. I will cry. If I want to cry, I'm going to cry. I have a very vivid memory of, I was in a department store in a mall in Delaware. In Delaware. How many are there? I think there's just one. And I was buying clothes, and I was with my sister, and I think I was like buying t-shirts. I was going to make t-shirts for something that I was doing. I don't know how many of you know this, but I've been pursuing my career since I was 14 years old, in person, in real life, on stage, in various forms, and then also like on the internet. So I've been doing this type of stuff a long time. This specific project, Delusions of Grandeur with Matty K, I started in 2019, but I've been doing things since I was 14, and I just like started crying because I was feeling very defeated. And this was like, I don't even know when this was. This was like 5 years. I think my grandma was still alive. This must have been like 2017, 2018. And I just started crying because I was like, I didn't know what was going on with my career, with my life. I was just feeling very defeated. And I was just standing in the middle of the department store, holding a bunch of clothes, just sobbing. And not just like, like, making a meal out of that shit. And you know, and my sister's there, and people walk around, and I don't even know if they're, and it's like throwing up or having diarrhea. You scream, get it out of your system. You do feel better. You feel it. And also being strong. I do not think showing emotion is weakness. I think it shows strength and honesty, and also on top of that, the fact that you know that people perceive it as weakness and you still don't give a fuck is even more boss. Like, because it's like, it takes strength to be vulnerable and honest. It takes strength to show your emotions, but then on top of that, to be like, I know I'm going to be perceived as weak and I don't give a fuck. There's a lot of times where I do things in life where I know it's going to make me look a certain way because of the society that we live in, and I just still do it, not because I want to be perceived that way, but because I want people to know that I do not give a fuck. If I want to cry, I'm going to fucking cry. I will feel better. I'm not doing it for attention. I'm doing it because it's what's inside. It's a natural response. Crying is the human way of dealing with that emotion and getting it out. Otherwise, you build it. What do people say? Stress ball, squeeze, go for a run, exercise, get your stress. It gets it out. Otherwise, stress lives in you, in your body. You've got to get it out one way or another. And that is how Mother Nature, the universe, whoever, whatever, we do. We cry. Dogs cry. Crying is natural. So, you know, don't feel, you know, if you want to cry, fucking cry. And, like, it's not weak. And the thing is, too, is, like, don't hide it. Because that's like, oh, you know it's weak. You think it's, like, go all out. You know, be like, can I get your attention, please? I'm going to sob now. And you feel better afterwards. I mean, and that's, you know, Crystal says it. I feel better afterwards. And you get back to living and smiling. We're not always happy, right? I always have brown eyes, but I'm not always happy. I'm not always sad. You know, it goes up and down like the ocean that I love. And you get back to it, right? Otherwise, you're going to hold on to it. And that's like, too, how resentment works. You hold on to it instead of getting it out of your system, right? Maybe that's grief. I'm not sure. Hey, I don't think any of us are sure about anything, except ice cream is delicious. Anyway, I hope this helps. It does help, Crystal. Thank you very much. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being vulnerable with us. I love that I stuttered on the word vulnerable. I'm going to keep that in, of course. And thank you for giving us your ways. And also, the last thing I want to say, too, is that even though I did not know your mother, the fact that you love her so much tells me that she was a wonderful person. And how great it is to be loved by her and for you to love her. And that even though I don't know anything about her, I can tell that she was good because you love her. Love, currently, still, right? So that's my tiny little, even if that helps you for just a little blip of a moment, I hope that helps, and I do mean that. You guys, 1 hour, 49 minutes. Shit, dude. I mean, cheers, bro. Like, this is, you know, this is a beautiful episode, and I connected some of these dots, but I didn't even really share what makes me happy. Maybe that could be another episode of what makes me happy. This is like 2 hours. This is like 12 episodes. Should I just make these 12 10-minute episodes to be more digest? I want to make them like 10 minutes because I wanted to free myself of this. It's so funny. If I plan an hour episode, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? And then it becomes shit and forced. So I'm like, oh, just make little LaCroix's fighting me 10-minute episodes, because then it's like blah 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 blah. The thing is, though, if these episodes are over an hour, like, they can't be uploaded to Facebook. I can put it on YouTube, but it can't be uploaded to Facebook. To everybody who's listening on audio only, to the podcast only, if you're on the podcast app, whether that's Apple or Android, or you're listening on Amazon or Spotify or Stitcher or Radio FM, or I don't really know where all the podcasts goes to. If you could maybe let me know, if you're listening to this on audio, if you could maybe let me know through social media or through email, dogwmk podcast@gmail.com, or any social media at dogwmk, where you listen to it and or where you would like to, but it's not coming through. Like maybe if you're like, oh, I like, Amazon Music, but it's not available, let me know so I can check that. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you stream audio and get your podcast from. You can watch on YouTube. You can listen wherever you stream your audio from. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for spending time with me. If you've made it this far, thank you for giving me 2 hours of your life. I hope that I comforted you and kept you cozy. I hope I made you laugh a couple times. I hope it made you think. I hope I challenged you. I hope I don't sound like a pretentious, arrogant prick right now. But in all honesty, if you seriously are listening right now and you made it this whole 2 hours through, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in me and supporting me and being here. I really appreciate it. Until next time, stalk me on social media. Check out the memes. Check out the 1-minute videos. And hang loose, eat some ice cream, and I will see you next time. Bye.